Which is more important, time or money? A lot of people that are super successful or have experienced life on certain levels, time is more valuable than money. Hey, Matt Smith here, Matt Smith Real Estate Group. I'm sitting down with the Hammer, Mike Odle, one of our listing specialists. Mike, welcome.
Thank you, thank you.
So you and I were just chatting, man, and we were talking about a little bit about your background, kind of your previous career, and then a little bit about real estate. So let's just start with, let's dive in a little bit about your previous career.
Yes, so I spent pretty much my entirety of my adult life up to a couple of years ago in the Army as a military police soldier, culminating as a command sergeant major for the Army, at which point in time, my wife and I, because she has a vote in it, decided that it was time to retire.
Yeah.
And start the next chapter in my life.
Awesome. Well, thank you for your service. And you actually became a part of Matt Smith Real Estate Group in your transition journey through a internship program from transitioning out of the military.
Yes. So the Army has what's called a career skills program. It's kind of like an internship where they allow you before your last actual day in the Army to find an organization that will accept you in as an intern.
Yeah.
That way you're prepared for that transition to a civilian life.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it makes it that much smoother, which is good because, especially those of us who made a career out of it, that is all we know. So
Sure.
So it's good to have it smoother transition.
Yeah, that's a program that we love, and you were one of the early ones to do that program through us. It's just something that I love it because I love the skill sets that you acquired over those years. Just carry over so well throughout life and through business, and you've been a tremendous asset. I remember while you were in that program transitioning over, we were in growth mode. COVID happened. There's a lot of moving parts, and you didn't have the job that you expected during the internship for a while. You were stuck being our receptionist for a while. You remember that?
Yes. Yep. And believe it when I tell you I was okay with that.
Yeah.
Because it was all part of the bigger plan.
Yeah.
You know, I know we talk a lot about having to believe in the organization and the future that is ahead.
Sure.
Even if it isn't evident right here now today.
Yeah.
Right. So I looked at it as this way. I was part of the organization. I knew it was going places. And I also looked at it as an opportunity to learn the craft as best I could before I had to hit the ground running.
Yeah, it's one of the things there's many things that that I admire about you and your character, but that's one of the things that stands out is coming from your previous career in the ranking that you were at to jumping into an internship, and you're answering the phones and never once complained. You always took initiative to go clean the office, do whatever needed to be done, and it just speaks a lot of your character. And I think that has carried over a lot to your success in your real estate career now. And so how long have you been in real estate now?
This April, I'll have had my license for 2 years. I started the CSP with Matt Smith Real Estate Group just a little over 2 years ago.
About 2 years?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep.
And so in those 2 years, has real estate had an impact on your life?
It actually has turned out to be the perfect fit for not only my life and what I was looking for, but for my family as well.
It's awesome.
We've talked about this before. It's almost like it was meant to be. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do when I got out of the Army, and very few people do.
Sure.
And actually, my wife said, hey, you should go check out Matt Smith Real Estate Group, because I told her about, well, maybe I'll check out real estate, because I knew I didn't want to do something on post. I wanted something different. And so just checking out the options in the local area that we knew we wanted to stay in. And she actually told me to come check you out, and I did. I just walked in on my lunch break one day and came in here and asked if y'all did the supported the CSP, the Career Skills Program. You did, and I went straight away to the administrative building on post and told them this is where I want to go and that's what I'm going to do.
That's awesome.
Yep. And I think I said this in part of our interview. One of the reasons that I wanted to look into doing real estate is because I knew that it's one of the industries that you get out of it what you put into it, right?
100%.
And that I really found that attractive about the industry. And then also, and I didn't know this at the time, but it benefited myself and my family greatly because of the flexibility that it allowed me to have. You know, that there's been some health issues, you know, that I had to take care of with the family and stuff like that. And if I needed to shoot to an appointment and take my spouse to an appointment at 2 p.m, I could make that happen.
Yeah.
But it not negatively affect my career and what I needed to do, just because as long as you have the discipline to make up that time later on, or fill gaps, you can certainly do that.
Yeah, for sure. So I didn't know that your wife is who I have to thank for you being a part of this organization. That's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I have to make sure I mention that next time we
It
get
was
together.
word on the street. She said she heard good things about Matt Smith Real Estate Group, and I should go check it out. So.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Trusted her judgment, and here I am.
Yeah, well, I have to thank her for that, because you've been a tremendous asset. I think that you mentioned the flexibility, right? I use a different word. I call it freedom. And a lot of people associate freedom with financial freedom, which this industry absolutely allows, but it also allows time freedom.
Yeah.
And if you ask most people as they go through their success journey, their life journey, which is more important, time or money, a lot of people that are super successful or have experienced life on certain levels, time is more valuable than money. And what I love about this career, if you do it correctly, you can achieve both. You can get your time freedom and your financial freedom. And so I think you've experienced a little bit about that. You were actually able to do something pretty special for your wife. In addition to getting out of the military, you were able to do something else for her.
I like to provide my wife and my family with the best that I can, right? Of course, we all do.
Yeah.
And one day we were talking about our house, and she wanted a new kitchen, and so we were going to go ahead and pull the trigger, and I was able to get her a new kitchen, and it wasn't going to be cheap, but because of the financial freedoms that I've gained from being part of this organization, I knew I was able to do that, and that kind of clicked in the moment at that time that I was able to cut that check and not have to worry about it. I was able to just satisfy that. But that ended up not, as you know, that ended up not coming to fruition, because instead of updating our kitchen, we just ended up buying a whole new house.
For sure.
Our forever home, which was one of our listings. I went over there just to basically say hello to some of my counterparts and the other agents that work here with, because that's the kind of organization we are. We like to see each other outside of the office.
Crazy how that works, huh?
Went over there to say hello and just pop in and say hi to everybody, and we kind of looked around the house and realized that house kind of checked the boxes of what we wanted in our dream home. And then we talked to one of our trusted lenders to run some numbers for it, and before you know it, we were putting in an offer, and we're in there now. Yeah.
So not only were you able to get her a new kitchen, you were able to get her a new kitchen in a new house.
Yep, surrounded by a whole new house.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I love it. I love hearing that. And it's we say it all the time here internally, right? But it's at Matt Smith Real Estate Group, we are a real estate company, but we like to think we're way more than that, right? Our core focus here is changing lives, and that's just one of many examples of changing lives through real estate. And we're fortunate that feeling that you and your wife got by that dream home, and that feeling you walk in and this is the one. We sometimes forget that we are so fortunate in this business to be able to do that on a daily basis with our buyers and sellers that we get to work with, our community that we get to work with. Like, it's amazing the opportunity, not only the freedom we talked about, but also just the fulfillment that we get in this career. It's amazing.
I'll tell you, some of the listings I've had and closed over this past year weren't even. So I like money just like everybody else, right?
Sure.
But what's also very important to me is a sense of personal fulfillment, that I have a purpose, right?
Yep.
And I've had a few listings which I took on, and surprisingly, they had told me, because they weren't big, huge mansions or anything like that, right? But they told me that other agents wouldn't even go out to them, or didn't return their calls or anything like that. But I get the greatest fulfillment out of helping a few of those people out, just because I know they needed it.
Yeah.
They needed someone to help them through that transaction and help them get to the next stage in their life. But in order to get there, they needed help through this part.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't $1 million property, some of the other listing agents out there wouldn't make time for them.
For sure.
And those were really the ones that I remember a lot.
And it's because of that fulfillment that you get, right? Like you can't, everybody makes fun of me here internally because I have goosebump moments, right? I'm passionate about what I do in life, and I'm a big believer you get one life, you better live it. And I just love that we get to have that feeling of helping these people through the biggest decision of their lives in most cases when they're buying or selling real estate. Like, we get to be a part of that. And I think sometimes we lose sight of that because there is the opportunity to make money. There is the opportunity for the freedom, time freedom as well. But at the end of the day, like, our core focus here is changing lives because that's what truly matters. And it's a hard metric to measure, but that's always our focus, just like you said, so we can achieve more of those fulfilling moments of those people that need that help the most.
Yep, absolutely.
100%. Well, Mike, thank you so much for sitting down and having this conversation. It's been very insightful, and I want to honor and say, dude, I really, really appreciate you. You're an amazing contributor to this organization, to this industry, and to our community. So thank you.
Thanks, I appreciate that. Thank you.
So if this story spoke to you, and if you are curious about the world of real estate, maybe what real estate can offer you, your family, your future, or you're interested to hear more about Matt Smith Real Estate Group and what we can offer as a team, we would love an opportunity to have that conversation with you. We are always growing and always looking for the right people that are looking for us. We are culture first. We can help you create freedom, both time freedom and financial freedom, through proven processes that has propelled us to be the #1 team in the state of Missouri. And we are looking for great people to join this organization. So click the link below if that is you.